Newcomers often ask, but how do I win? And we say, by having fun. But a lot of fun is to be had by sitting back at the end of the adventure, counting up the loot, marking your experience points, and advancing your character. What if we gave them that dopamine rush at the end of every session? What if our adventures were all one session long? Or is that a terrible idea? One of the biggest parts of GM prep is writing the adventure. Who will they meet? Where will they go? Who will they fight? Do we need a map for this encounter? Do we need to have stats for these people? But one of the biggest thrills for players is getting to the end. It's the finale, the denouement, the discovery. The investigation pays off. The fruit of their labour is uncovered. And it's a real shame when we hear ourselves saying, well, we're out of time, so we'll leave it there, and you can continue exploring the swamp next session. We've all heard tales of the epic campaigns that lasted years, and this is put forward to us as being the goal, the ideal. It's what we should want. It's what our players will want, we're told. They want the months, years spanning Lord of the Rings style epic that takes a simple character from humble beginnings through many, many trials and tribulations, all as part of one single narrative thread that only finally has its denouement years in game later. We don't need a big campaign. In fact, I think it harms our engagement. My solution to player engagement is this: start the adventure, finish the adventure in the same night. What if our campaign is less Lord of the Rings and more like Buffy the Vampire Slayer or Supernatural, where there's an overarching plot that reaches all the way across everything that's going on? But that's, to start with, somebody working in the shadows in the background. That's a meanwhile that you can throw in as a cliffhanger. Watch my other videos about this sort of stuff. And instead of trying to have it continue, we go bite size, bite size, bite size. We can cover the same ground, but we can give the players a sense of accomplishment because they can see, actually, we've done all these things. We've beaten werewolves and vampires and ghouls and Frankenstein monsters, all on our way to find out where all these are coming from, rather than it being one long slog. If you can have your players get into the expectation that at the beginning of the session there will be a boom, we're into the action, and then here's the mystery, and then by the end of the session they're expecting they'll have it solved, and you can time jump and swap things about so it gets done, then you can have pacing like you wouldn't believe. If you've ever had a party spend 45 minutes in a corridor because they want to check every single thing for traps, then you know how this can just grind everything to a halt. And is it fun? It's not for me. But instead, if rather than describing the farmhouse room by room, detail by detail, you give them some general descriptions about it, the look, the smell, the sounds it makes, and then cut to, well, you've made your roll, so here are the clues you found. You found this bottle of pills with the wrong name on it. You found a mysterious book down the back of the desk where you think it had fallen off, and there were some footprints in the flower bed. So if the players know they're expected to get through the mystery in one session, they will start to pace themselves accordingly. They will not think, well, I need to have a long, complicated discussion with the NPC that lives 3 towns over. Can we travel there by foot? They will be getting to the point. They will be going, no, we need to get this done. A sense of urgency that an actual situation with a monster terrorizing a town would have can be yours. And what's more, if every session is the beginning of an adventure, no one need ever sit around for half a session, a whole session, 2 sessions I've heard some of, waiting for you to bring their character in. It's a smash cut. It's okay, that was a good recap, thank you. It's 3 weeks later, Daryl is out of town, but you've been talking to Catherine, who is an interested local priest. You may or may not know she has ties to a monster hunting organisation, and we're going to start here. It completely solves the problem of people not being able to play yet because the action hasn't got to their character. And it's a fantastic thing to do with a West Marches system. Monster of the Week is the perfect West Marches game. I'm going to do a video explaining that shortly. An adventure designed to be got through in one night has to be less grainy in its detail, and that is good for you as a game master, because writing lots of detail that then no one gets to find out can be soul destroying. And what's more, if you're writing adventures that short, it's entirely possible to have 2 ready to go and give your players the choice of which one they're going to investigate first. You don't have to interleave them, you can, but for me the important thing is, if I've got a choice of 2 adventures for them, that means I'm 1 ahead. Tonight they'll do this, but if next session I don't have time to prep, I've got an adventure written in the bag. And picture the scene. After 5 sessions where the adventure ends at session time, the players are racing towards the conclusion when suddenly a voice from behind them says, "Not so quickly." The lights go out and you say, "To be continued." Now these shows and adventures and campaigns are always to be continued. We're always thinking there'll be another episode, there'll be another session. But the "to be continued" ending for a TV show makes us go, oh, what's going to happen? What's it going to be? When can we find out? When can we schedule it? When can we come back and play the game? Make "to be continued" the exception, and they will fall over themselves to schedule that session. I find this works. I'm currently running a science fiction game using Impulse Drive, and we stick to 1 adventure per night. After we do the end of session moves, I will do a cliffhanger epilogue, something that they didn't realize had happened during what they were doing, so from the villain's viewpoint, or something else that's going on nearby, so that they're going, oh, that's going to be important later. And I've really found that this has made a huge difference to my player engagement. They feel like they're successful characters doing a lot of great stuff. So give this a go. Let me know what you think about this in the comments. Like, subscribe, all of that business. But let me know as well, rather than we always boast about the longest campaign we were ever in, tell me about your shortest adventures. Tell me about the ones that lasted 2 sessions, 1 session, less than a session. Anyway, that's all from me. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you next time.